Good morning and welcome to San Jacinto's 100th celebration. It has been so much fun to be a part of this, and I feel very honored being the current principal. I've been here 8 years, and to be able to take part in something as special as this, celebrating 100 years of education, is quite an honor. For those of you that are standing against the wall, there are some more available chairs if you'd like to sit down, and these that are reserved, you can take these seats as well. We're going to start our program this morning with a presentation of colors by the San Jacinto Color Guard. This is something we implemented about a year ago, and we're quite proud of these students. So we'll have them present the colors. If you would stand, they'll also do the pledge and the Texas pledge.
Ready, face. Guards post. Guards post. Post colors. Present arms. Order arms. Ready, face left. Forward march. Hold. About face.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. We have a special guest here this morning, along with our students. We have 2 students from every class they're going to sing the school song, but our special guest is Mr. Eddie Hernandez. He was the Mr. Hernandez. He is the composer of the school song that was written in 1989. So we owe him a great thank you for taking the time to write that song. And I think you're supposed to help Miss Benton lead that song. Yes.
San Jacinto warriors, oh, never hide. We got the warrior spirit that will never die. We'll always fight for excellence, when work will fly. All know that we're the best, we're number one. San Jacinto warriors, don't give up, that's great. Take us to change the guard, don't give up.
At this time, we've got another special guest. We're just full of special guests today. Dr. Carol Ann Bonds will be giving our invocation. She's had such a positive influence in our district that we're very grateful that she's here. She has done so many things for the school district and just had an impact on the city as well. So we're appreciate her being here and grateful for all she's done for our district.
May we pray. Oh, precious Father, the earth is full of your goodness today. We thank you for this school and its staff that's nurtured and loved hundreds of children over the last 100 years. You fashioned the lives and hearts individually of each of the children who's walked through the doors of San Jacinto Elementary over these years. Thank you for the adults who have unselfishly served our children. Now guide our adults and children through your wisdom and help them to become what you created them to be. Let your face shine upon them. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now Kim Bowie, I wasn't supposed to get up, but I left my agenda up here. She'll be introducing past principals.
Good morning. We would like to take the time to honor our past principals. San Jacinto's very first principal was Minnie Rawlings. She actually started out as one of the first teachers before San Jacinto was even built. She was principal for 26 years from 1909 until 1935. Ora Sprawls then became principal. She served San Jacinto for 22 years from 1935 to 1957. For 3 years, W.H. Taylor was principal. He started in 1957 until 1960. J.E. Shepard then became principal. He was here for 9 years, from 1960 to 1969. In 1967, San Jacinto had a new principal. His name is D.E. Malden, and I had the opportunity to meet him earlier this year when he came with his wife to get a t-shirt. He served San Jacinto for 14 years, from 1969 until 1983. Mr. Malden is here with us today. Some of you have probably already seen him. Please stand up, Mr. Malden. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the years of service that you gave to San Jacinto. In 1983, Brenda Rios became principal. Though I've only met her this morning, I've heard a lot about her over the years because she was the principal when my husband Jason was here. It was all good. He was bad, but it was all good. She served San Jacinto from 1983 until 1989. She, of course, is with us today. Please stand up, Ms. Rios. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the years of service that you gave to San Jacinto. In 1989, Eddie Heath joined the San Jacinto family as principal. He made sure that San Jacinto had a grand celebration for its 80th birthday, and we're thankful for that because we didn't have to do as much work this time because they did a lot of work then. He was here for 4 years from 1989 to 1993. He now finds his home at the administration building as the Director of People Services. Mr. Heath, of course, is with us today here on stage, and you will have the opportunity to hear from him later. Please stand up, Mr. Heath. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the years of service that you've given to San Jacinto. Delma Menchaca came to San Jacinto in 1993. She spent 4 years as principal between the years of 93 and 97. Ms. Menchaca is here with us today. Please stand up. Thank you. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the years that you've given to San Jacinto. In 1997, Patsy Clare came to San Jacinto as its 9th principal. Ms. Clare served San Jacinto for 2 years from 1997 to 1999. Ms. Clare is with us today. Please stand up. Thank you for coming today and for bringing your girls, and thank you for the years that you've given to San Jacinto. San Angelo's 10th principal was Kim Parson. She was at San Jacinto for 2 years and helped to usher San Jacinto into the new millennium from 1999 to 2001. Ms. Parson is here with us today. thank you for coming today, and thank you for the years of service that you've given to San Jacinto. San Jacinto's 11th and current principal is Mary McGann. Ms. McGann has been serving San Jacinto since 2001. For the past 8 years, San Jacinto has not just been a place that Ms. McGann works, it is also a place that she calls home. And it's filled with people that she not only calls faculty, but also family. It has been an honor to get to know her and to work beside her the past year. Mary, of course, is with us today. Please stand up, Ms. McGann. We have a good time. Thank you for the years of service that you've put into San Jacinto. That's it.
And now it's my turn again. I don't think 20 years ago you all had a slideshow, did you, Mr. Heath?
I don't believe we did.
The advent of technology. We do have a special slideshow today, and we have students that were narrate of all times to get tongue-tied. So students, if you'll come on up in the decade order that you'll be reading, we'd appreciate it. So just stand right there. Before we do that, I'm going to read a little history for you to kind of prep you for some of the things they'll be sharing as well. These are actually excerpts taken from the letters that former students wrote for the 80th celebration, so some of you may have written these. So these are the memories of ex-students from San Jacinto Elementary. Some of the students from the original school site on Coberland Street actually helped to clear the lot where the East Ward is located today in 1909, and this school was built at a cost of $14,000. Times have changed. In 1914, the Mothers Club, which was the original PTA, was a major part of the school. They bought a piano and books, and to help beautify the school, they planted 52 trees and put in cement walks. I'm not sure where the 52 trees are. I think they've been replaced by buildings. There was a time when the janitor would sit in the basement making sure the furnace was working, and he was also in charge of sharpening the pencils every day. The boys and girls were not allowed to play together. They were only allowed to play on opposite sides of the building. I think sometimes we should go back to that. The toilets were outside behind the school. I'm assuming they were commonly referred to as outhouses. They had one row of toilets for the boys and one row for the girls. They did have a separate special toilet for the teachers. One former student remembered riding his horse to school every day, and he would tie him to a tree until school was out. Another former student wrote that her cousin had a pet donkey. He rode it to school every day. And the donkey would lie down, play dead. And when the donkey thought school was over, he would bray so loudly, the teachers would be upset and the students would fall on the floor laughing. A past student shared her most embarrassing incident that happened right here at San Jacinto. She hit a boy in the eye with a rock. And for her punishment, she had to pump her teacher home every day on her bicycle for 6 weeks. Where have those times gone? I could get a lot of good behavior out of kids if they had to pump me home every day for 6 weeks. One ex-student remembers the new school had wooden floors, and oftentimes the kids would get splinters in their feet if they didn't wear their shoes because they came to school barefoot often. And the school had fire escapes on the second floor, the slides, and they were used when 3rd and 4th grades were dismissed from school. Slide on down. The students loved the fire escapes. How many of you have ever wanted to do that? I have. One lady remembers how finally in 1955, San Jacinto added a cafeteria. So students could go each morning and get a half pint of milk and 4 soda crackers. On special occasions, they got chocolate milk and graham crackers. It was a big day. One lady remembered how finally in 1955, I already read that one. Some of the former students remember the bats. There were bats in trash cans, restrooms, and classrooms. And the students knew when they heard doors shut there was a bat alert. But thanks to Mr. Bowman and Aid on Campus, he would get his tennis racket and kill the bats. So he was the hero. Okay, we will now have the slideshow, and Michael Eversole will be narrating the 1905 up until 1919. So, Michael.
It's 1905 and San Jacinto, which was originally known as Eastward, is located on the 800 block of Copperland. The street is a small two-room yellow wooden building. There are two teachers at the school, Miss Minnie Rawlings, who is later to become the first principal of San Jacinto School. The other teacher is Miss Myrtle Mears. The enrollment during 1905 is at 114 students. It's because of the overcrowded school that leads school officials to make plans for the construction of a new school on Spalding Street. The new school is ready in 1910 after having to go through many delays because of the weather. The school is a two-story building which contains 8 large classrooms. There will be 6 teachers and Miss Minnie Rawlings, who is the principal. The building will contain a new hot air heating system that will make the building comfortable for all students and teachers. The Mothers Club becomes very active in helping the school in any way they can. In a Mothers Club meeting, Miss Rawlings spoke in regard to making flower beds at the building in order to beautify the grounds and to instill the love of flowers in the children. The school does achieve their objective because the school wins $20 for having the cleanest campus and the cleanest word contest. In 1911, the Mothers Club decides to buy a piano for the school. The cost of the piano is $225, which would include a rubber cover, a stool, and a year of tuning. In 1916, a Victrola and records are purchased for the school. Miss Rawlings made use of the Victrola daily. Every morning before school, all of the students would line up outside the building. When Miss Rawlings would ring a bell and play the record, "On War Christian Soldiers," all of the students would march in line to their room to begin classes.
The 1920s will be narrated by Jonathan De La Cruz.
It's 1920 and our parents and teachers encourage us to dress simple, to be kind and above all to be courteous. The Mothers Club has some great ideas for raising money to buy playground equipment. Each student was supposed to bring 1 egg, and when the cost of the eggs are high, the Mothers Club will sell them. In 1922, we finally ordered 2 hardwood slides for $139.08. When they came in, we had a sliding party on Friday night. Moms could slide for 10 cents and kids could slide for a nickel. We made $20 and had so much fun, we decided to have more sliding parties, which were also very successful. At the same time, 8 benches were bought by the Mothers Club for $21.90 in order that the children would no longer have to sit on the ground and eat lunch. A very interesting action at the same time was when the Mothers Club refused to buy books for the library because they believed that if the children had the books, tuberculosis could be spread very easily. During this decade was when the most extensive remodeling occurred. The school was changed from the original red brick to the flat top stucco we have today. There was 12 more rooms added, which helped solve the problem of overcrowded rooms.
Yesenia Villanueva will read about the 1930s.
During the 1930s, I remember Miss Rawlings, our principal, driving to work in her cute roadster. Miss Rawlings was an excellent child psychologist in that she was able to hold all the students under strict discipline without them resenting her. When we would misbehave, Miss Rawlings would write our names in a book she kept in her office. This was a terrible thing to happen to a student. During the 30s, the yo-yo man would visit once a year near the school. He did all kinds of yo-yo tricks. He would return the next day to sell us yo-yos. At this time, we still didn't have a cafeteria. So for lunch, students would either go home, bring their lunch, or buy a hamburger for 5 cents at the small store across the street from the school. In 1935, San Jacinto celebrated its silver jubilee. There were speeches about past achievements and the goals for the future.
Valeria Martinez will read about the 1940s.
It's 1942, San Jacinto had decided to set up a wartime activity committee. In offer to help the war, we began to sell war bonds. So far, we have successfully collected $643. We have also begun to ration gas on Thursdays and Fridays. In 1942, we have added an atrium to our campus, which was made by combining 2 classrooms and part of a hall. At this time, there were nearly 400 students at the school under a supervision of 17 teachers and Principal Miss R. Spur. In 1942, the first Little Olympics is held in San Jacinto, then now known as the San Jacinto Cyclones, win top honor. We go on to win the Olympics in 1944 and 1945. By winning 3 times, San Jacinto becomes the first school to win permanent possession of the huge victory trophy.
As a side note, the trophy is in display in the main building on the 1940 table. And I've been asked by people in the public before if we still have that trophy. The answer is yes, and it is on display, so be sure to take a look at that. We get to keep it forever and ever and ever. 1950s is read by Bethany Wahardo.
In the 1950s, San Jacinto's enrollment has grown to over 622 students. There are 17 classrooms and 20 teachers in the school. Because of the large enrollment in 1952, 2 new buildings are added to the campus. The buildings make it possible to add 4 more classrooms to the campus. The buildings are presently used by 2 kindergarten and 2 first grade classes. Until now, the students had either been going home for lunch or eating at school if they brought their lunch. Students who stayed at school to eat would sit outside on benches on pretty days. When it rained, they would have to eat in the classroom. In 1955, San Jacinto adds a cafeteria, which helps delete the problem of children having to eat outside or in the classroom. Toward the end of the decade, we have a new principal, Mr. W.H. Taylor, who comes to us from Fort Concho. With Mr. Taylor's help and leadership, we're looking forward to many more successful ventures for our school.
Brianna Byerly will read about the 1960s.
The 1960s were filled with many changes. During this decade, there were 3 principals: William Taylor, James Shepard, and Donald Malden. The enrollment at San Jacinto was perhaps at its lowest since the 1940s. It was in the early 1960s that boys at the West Texas Boys Ranch were bused to San Jacinto. The PTA started buying 5 air conditioners a year for the classrooms. Since 1910, the parents working in PTA have been so helpful in providing books, diddle machines, playground equipment, and other things to make our school a better place for learning.
David Rodriguez will read about the 1970s.
In the 1970s, there was a major remodeling of the 60-year-old building. This included new windows, lowering ceilings, and carpet in the halls. A library, learning center, and a large room for team teaching was created from 4 classrooms and a hall at the north end of the lower floor. The large classroom later was known as 2-3 North. It combined some 2nd and 3rd grade students. There were 3 teachers in that room. In September 1970, Carver Elementary School was closed and those students were bused to San Jacinto. The completion of the Concho Village apartments added to the school enrollment. The two Chapter 1 buildings were moved to the campus. Additionally, teachers and aides were hired.
Miss Reyes and Miss Cheney, raise your hands and wave. They taught in the big 2-3 classroom back in the 70s. Michael Eversole makes another appearance to read about the 1980s.
The 1980s involved the community with the school. The DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education, teaches the children to just say no to drugs. Volunteers in public schools program known as VIPs has sent servicemen and women from Goodfellow Training Center. The Town and Country food stores became San Jacinto's sponsor through the Adopt a School program. Over the past years, Town and Country has given parties to students with perfect attendance. They have also given caps, visors, and bicycles to students for different awards.
Back again to read about the 1990s, David Rodriguez.
In August 1990, Mr. Eddie Heath became San Jacinto's principal. During this time, CARE became our school motto, and Jehu Hernandez, the music teacher, wrote our school song. San Jacinto was lucky to get a full-time librarian, Miss Dean. In the middle 90s, our principal was Delma Menchaga. One of the major events during this time was the passing of the bond issue. San Jacinto was able to do major remodelings as well as adding 12 new classrooms, a multi-purpose building, and beautiful paseo. The San Jacinto Clinic opens the service our students and the neighborhood. In the late 90s, Patsy Clear and Kim Parson served as principals. Technology became an important part of our school, and everyone becomes involved in the beautification effort to make our campus more attractive.
Dina Dean, raise your hand. First librarian, only librarian, still here. Bethany Guajardo will read about the millennium.
The first decade of this millennium has been dominated by many wide-ranging topics at San Jacinto, from the 9/11 memorial walks to honor the victims of September 11th, to the advent of new technology that continues to change our lives almost daily. San Jacinto has been blessed in many ways this past 9 years, including updating the San Jacinto school-based clinic, the library, and the computer lab. When looking to curriculum and instruction, San Jacinto was instrumental in beginning the dual language program, balanced literacy, and put into practice inclusion and co-teaching. San Jacinto also strives to integrate technology into learning through smart boards, Inter-Write pads, the Jeopardy game, United Streaming, Brain Pop, and Study Island. San Jacinto also takes a great pride in the innovative programs that touch the students' lives outside the classroom, such as Color Guard, K-Jack, Monthly Powwow, Homework House, Girls Club, Catch, Texas Tech Outdoor School, and Community Mentors.
You all may go sit down. Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. That's pretty nerve-wracking. I'm nervous, so I can only imagine how they feel. We now have another special guest. I know it's a shock. He's one of my favorite people, Mr. Eddie Heath. He's here to open the time capsule. I think he's going to invite some former students up that may have put some actual items in the time capsule. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Heath.
Thank you. I want to say a few words first before we do this, and everybody's going to roll their eyes at me. And and sometimes it's not so much that I have as much to say, it's just I say it slowly. But anyway, most of what I want to say is thank you to a lot of different people and the entire setting. But I thought about today and a few of the different groups of people that I wanted to speak to. And part of what I wanted to do was again say thank you to them. I want to ask if there are, and I know there are, but if we have students and members of the faculty that were there or here when we did put the time capsule together, if you just raise your hand where you are right now to let you see who the staff and faculty were here and some of the students that were here. Thank you. And I want to realize and understood that we all become a part of this history. Our time here makes us be a part of the history. We developed the history of San Jacinto. When I first got here, it didn't take but a minute to realize the close-knit group that is here and the support that comes from the community. The staff is here, and you'll hear, and we talked about earlier, even in the 20s, or 20 years ago, that many of the staff members are here for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and longer. They come and stay. When we talked about it at the 80th birthday, we had many families that was third and fourth generation of students that were attending San Jacinto. Their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents. It's that type of a community and that type of a circumstance that takes place around this school. The other thing that I wanted to say to the faculty, it is worth it. Today is evidence of that at times when you get yourself worn out and tired and you wonder, does it matter? It matters. I wanted to say too, to the business owners, to the community, we had a close partnership with Goodfield Air Force Base and the volunteers that they provided. ASU, I'm glad that things were mentioned here earlier, and I saw a picture or two, but I did want to comment too. And I see him here, and I want to recognize him, and that is Dr. Paul Hudman and Hudman Drug Store. They've been here for a long documentation. Eva Tucker was one that quietly came and provided for this school, and there were many things that she did for the students of this school, and I want to recognize her memory by making a comment about that. And also, I would be remiss in not mentioning Steve and Pollyanna Stevens with Town and Country Food Stores. They have taken care of this school and many of the needs, and again, it's something that they quietly take care of and support and help, and I want them to be recognized that we appreciate them in doing that. The parents, the volunteers, everyone that was a part of being here, there is such a community feeling, and I want it recognized and appreciated. I wanted to say also in regard to that, with today's economy and everybody with watching the stock market and, what do we invest in? My tip is invest in young people. Invest in the future. That is what it's all about. And I can assure you that that is a safe bet in making an investment. And the people that have done so through the staff, the faculty, everyone, that they have made that investment. I want to make a comment about the students that were here. They're in their 20s, most of them now, and I want to say thank you for being here. It says something about you and what is important to you, and I appreciate you being here in that respect. And one of the last things that I wanted to say, and that was partly for the students that are here and those that have come before, is that I really think life is about service. And it is about service to other people. It's about being a part of something that is larger than you are. And I think what our job is as students, young people, as we're growing up, I think what our job is to prepare ourselves for our time of service. And we do that by the experiences that we have and by gathering up as much education as we possibly can to prepare ourselves for our time of service. And it's a way of giving back. And you may not give back to the exact same people that gave to you, but giving back is what this is all about. And that's what this community has always been about. That's why you're here. That's why the businesses do what they do. That's why the volunteers do what they do. That's why the staff does what they do. It's a way of giving back. It's a way of service. And so what I would want to do is challenge the students that are here to begin preparing themselves for their time of service, and that I hope that they remember fondly, and when it's their turn to reflect back on their time of service, that some of it will lead them back to San Jacinto, and that their story may start out, once upon a time when I was a San Jacinto warrior. And so I did want to say that, and I do appreciate, again, the opportunity to be here. With that, I'm going to go ahead and do what we need to do, and I want to ask the students some of the students that were here, all of you that were here when we put this thing together, I've been asked, and I'm getting better at forgetting stuff. There's some things that come well with age, and getting better at forgetting stuff is one of them, and it is true. I remember giving the responsibility to the different grade levels and saying, come up with something, we'll put it in here, lock the door. The other thing that I've gotten good at is, in addition to the forgetting, and it really is true, they said, how are we getting in this thing? Well, they did a better job of keeping up with the time capsule than I did keeping up with the key. So we got a hold of maintenance, and I don't know if they used bolt cutters or a hacksaw, but we got the lock open, so we're ready to go on this thing. And I'm going to ask those students, if you were here the day that we put this in here, if y'all will come up here and help me, and we'll open this thing up and hold up what's there. So if you were one of the students here at school, man, they're a lot bigger than they used to be. There was a time I was taller than every one of these people. All right, well, again, what I think we'll do is just open this thing up and take a look in there, and whatever we come across, I'll hand it to one of you and ask you to hold it up for us, and we'll see. I remember that some of it has to do with writings, and so there may be some things that you'll want to browse through later and look at. There's some pictures. I think there's a video. I want to recognize Mr. Fox. He videoed the first celebration, and I think his class put something together, so there may be something in here. I got to think about this part too with the time capsule. If you have a time capsule nowadays, maybe all you do is you just get a little thimble-sized container and put a website in there, and there you go. That may be all it takes. But this was fun. We had a good time with it. All right, Landy, you want to sit here?
He remembers my name.
And that's not always bad. Alright, we'll start with what comes up first. This right here is Miss Bonaventure and Miss the resource room. This may be, these are various hairstyles of the 1900s. We got Willie, I see you hiding. I remember him doing that when he went here. Okay, this is from the 5th grade, is Miss Campbell's room. Sean Pettis and Manuel B. Hill. Let's see what this is. And this is a poster that was put together. Does it say on the back? Well, there you go. I'm not sure, that may have been with one of the primary groups because most of the older ones did put their names on. Okay, this is from the San Jacinto Annex. We had Judy Solomon and her students were here. They were students that were, it was a special program group that was over here with us, and they put their names on here and then put their handprint on here. And again, this will be something that you want to take a look at when we put it there, I believe in the library or somewhere later for you to have a chance to look at. Holy mackerel. Okay, here we go.
We really need more hands over here.
We're going to need some help. Maybe so. Happy birthday, San Jacinto. And this is birthday wishes from the students. We put this on the wall and give everybody the opportunity to come and sign it. You found your name? Yeah, right here. There's some very interesting history with just these students. It's funny, and when I left here, I went to Central and spent 10 years as a vice principal and assistant principal at Central. Many of these students caught up with me when we got over there, and so it was funny to see them grown up. And I'm going to comment on one. I don't mean to necessarily embarrass her, but Maria, I'm going to, if you'll raise your hand. She was a student over here, and when she got to Central, she was a student aide for me in the Student Service Center, and I hired her, and she works there now. Okay, here's another book. I'm not sure what the grade level is, but it looks like it's a primary grade. Again, we'll put these books at the library where you can look at them. All right, this is from Lee Cothran, and I know she's here, her class and the migrant classes, and it's snapshots and artwork. Let's see here. Okay, these are some photographs of the class, and fortunately, she had the insight to write the people's names on the back, so we'll know who these people are. So we'll give you an opportunity to look at that. Here's a book from the 3rd grade, and it's about modes of transportation. It's different drawings by different students and then put together in a book. The kids, and I will say this, they took this very seriously. I was pleased about that. It's kind of an unusual circumstance to be a part of putting things in a time capsule and then being part of opening the time capsule. I don't think that happens very often, and I do feel fortunate about that. All right, this is happy birthday again, and it's the second grade. Miss Cheney, Miss Cosby, I know she's here, Dora Gutierrez and Kathy Pringle. I'm not sure if they were, but I know that Miss Cosby and Miss Cheney, I've seen both of them here this morning. And so this was their second grade classroom, and it's letters that they brought or put together. This is a story that's written, Norma Arredondo. I can't remember what grade she was in. I do remember her when she got to Central High School. So I'm not sure what grade, but again, I think it was in the no, here it is. It's Miss Unger. So I guess it was, what, about first grade? First grade? Okay, I remember this being put in there. This was a little Olympic t-shirt. We gave each group an opportunity to put something in here, and we let the music group, the athletic group, special education, migrant, chapter 1, all the various programs, and this was their contribution. Mr. Levis, you may be interested.
I'm in charge of that.
I think you will be. We've got a stack of photographs, and again, we're going to need to lay these out in order for you to appreciate them. But I'm not sure what grade level's on there, but it has been put into an album, and we'll do that. All right, this is the signature sheet from Miss Oyhus. I believe she was kindergarten. So these are the kindergarten names of students there that I suppose would be in their mid-20s now. So we may recognize some names there. I will tell you that we've had, and I've come to know of students that have been in Iraq. I know that we have students that are in public service. We have some that are police officers, firemen, that were here during that time frame. All right. This is a music tape.
I think it's a school song. We have no way of playing it anymore.
That's what I'm saying. I think the next time capsule is just going to have a website, and you just go to the website, and there you go. He was saying, don't have a way of playing this anymore. We have 2 videos. Again, one of them is a contribution. I don't know what's on this one, but I do know that it was from the 5th grade, Mr. Fox's class. I think Landy was a part of that. But anyway, we'll have this available and see if we can figure out how to show it, or maybe we can get Jack to turn it into a DVD for us. And this is a video of the 80th celebration. And I will tell you that we did have several of the other principals. I know Mr. Taylor and Mr. Shepard were there. I know that Dr. Hudman was there. Appreciate him again being here today. I'm not sure what all's on this. I think it'll be interesting, and if we can, I'll just tell you that, Jack, if you'll help us, we'll put this together on a DVD, and if you're interested in having one of these when it gets turned into a DVD, then we'll make arrangements for that to be true, and you can contact the school about it or contact me at the central office, and we'll find a way to get one too. And what elementary school is a good elementary school without a pencil? And this one is a marked pencil for San Jacinto, and it's from Town and Country Food Stores. One of the things that we did just to promote school spirit and understanding was that we made up a bunch of question and answers about the school and about the history of the school, and we passed them out to all the classrooms. And then we would ask the students, stop them in the hall and ask them a question. If they knew the answer to the question, then we would give them a little sticker or something that they could trade in later for pencils and other things like that. So it was a way to promote an understanding. And again, most of what I'd like to say is that I was just a part of putting something together. The feeling was here, the attitude, the cooperative attitude, the spirit of cooperation, the community, the neighborhood feeling. I just stepped into that and was a catalyst of allowing things to grow. We talked about the work that it was, but the people that were here would probably not refer to it that way. It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. And it, again, was just something that I was a part of, but the feeling was here long before I got here, and it has certainly continued to be here. And your presence here today is evidence of that. I did want to ask one more time, those of you that were on the staff when we put this in here together, whoop, I got one, what is this? Sorry. Chapter 1, the Parent Advisory Committee of October the 24th, 1989. I don't know what those people are wearing on their heads, but we'll have to check that out too. And this is from the 6th grade. And this is the goals. And each student put on there, they've got their name. Now, Mr. Melton, this says that you're going to be living in Junction. Would that be true? There you go. See, your goals can come true. Just focus. But it'll be interesting to read that. We have the name and what everybody's goal for their life was. That it was in the 6th grade that year. That'll be interesting to read also. Okay. Again, let me ask those of you that were on the staff and faculty, when we put this together, would you please stand up and let us give you a round of applause for our appreciation? Thank you. And again, I'm going to turn this over back to Mary. I can't thank you enough for being here. I mean that. I really appreciate it. I know that the people that are here now appreciate it and the support that's always been. And so thank you again.
Okay, in closing, we had one more letter that we'd like to read to wrap this assembly up. After 100 years of wonderful memories, we felt the best way to end our presentation is with a quote from a woman who attended San Jacinto in 1922. For our 80th birthday celebration, she sent us a letter of her memories, and at that time she was 75 years old. She wrote to the students of San Jacinto, "I wish you all well. Study and learn something good."
Walking out to the slab, please. Please start walking out to the slab.
That just killed the mood. Let me start again. At the time, she wrote to the students of San Jacinto, "I wish you all well. Study and learn something good every day. Read all the books you can at your wonderful library. Get interested in saving the earth and taking care of your health. Enter as many sports as you can. Do good work and never stop learning. There's a big, wonderful world out there, and it is for you to correct our mistakes and make the world better." And that still holds true today. At this time, the announcement was to start calling all the students out to the slab there because we're going to do a balloon release and sing happy birthday to San Jacinto. So again, we want to express our gratitude to each one of you for taking the time to come today and celebrate San Jacinto's 100th birthday. If you'll accompany us outside to the slab, we'll sing, we'll release the balloons. We will then have a reception in the library, and we'll have memorabilia on display, including the time capsule. And we also have a 100-year photo. This is for this year, the students that were enrolled in San Jacinto Elementary this school year. They're all here with faculty and staff. These are on sale, probably more for the parents of the kids. You guys probably don't necessarily. I want one. So we have t-shirts and we have envelopes on sale by the post office with a special stamp for San Jacinto. So feel free to stick around for the reception, the balloon release, and look around the school if you'd like. Thank you.